on, Barstools and Bandtalkers. Dave and Sean here with a special guest.
Good evening. Our good buddy, my bandmate, Kyle Boudreau.
And it's a special day for Kyle today.
Is it ever?
Special day for Kyle Boudreau.
Yeah. I hear some beastly action.
Kyle.
Yeah, buddy.
It's not my birthday too, but hey, brother.
Hey, brother. How's it going?
Good. So you turned 27 today, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, still young. I'm still pretty young, bro.
Yeah. Happy birthday again. I was over at Kyle's house today, and we're going to talk about. He's got a really cool thing that he's doing. He started showing me how it's coming together, and we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But what else did you do today, Kyle, on the big day?
I ordered a burger from Five Guys, and I watched some TV, and that's about it, bro. I didn't do too much. I'm taking it easy, much like I do every day. I kind of do what I'm supposed to do. I'm listening to music. I'm playing the guitar a little bit, and just waiting for this to end until it's safe to go back out.
I do want to point out too, Mikael Lloyd's doing a live show right now, live stream, and actually I was talking to him. Tell Kyle happy birthday, so I pass that along to him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
A message from Leaf Plumbing Smith did the same thing, I think. Said to say happy birthday to you, Leaf did.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Lethal guy. So I guess we'll get started here as I'm drinking my Molson Canadian Cold Shot, Kyle Boudreau. I know what you've been doing since all this shit happened, but a lot of people are like, hey, they've asked me, what's Kyle up to? Why don't you tell our friends what you've been doing kind of since all this crap happened? Because we were supposed to be going to Dolan's the night before all this shut down, right?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, I mean, I've had, I always played 3 or 4 nights a week, and that's pretty much what I did. And then when this all happened, I mean, all of that got shut down. I've been basically staying in the house. I've been, working on some tunes, and then basically I've been working on this kind of a radio show. I've been taking all my favorite tunes, and I've been, because I always kind of listen to music every day. So what I did was I took about 55 or 60 songs, and I put them together in a way that made sense, and I kind of linked them together. And then I'm just going to kind of put some tunes on and talk about them for 3 or 4 hours. I've got everything ready to go. I'll probably do this tomorrow. And I've never done any kind of a radio show or a podcast, but I was always interested in doing it. And of course, with everything shut down, I figured, yeah, this would be the right time to try that. So.
And you're looking for a name for it. So maybe if anybody's got any ideas, shoot them Kyle's way. And, that the prize will be one disappointing date with Dave McPherson. Yeah. So one of the things too that when we had Leith on, because obviously talking about music and the thing with Leith that a lot of people were surprised at was what a throwback the guy is for his age. And so we walked through what Frequency Weekend is like when we go to Dolan's, where you get there, you load in, everybody sleeps, and all of a sudden the iLoud comes on, and Kyle just starts spinning tunes from the time of about 6 o'clock till the time it's ready to go. That to me is a big part of Saturday night that we're not getting to do right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know, and that's why. And I've just I always love doing that. Like every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night when we're there, it was like, I just put on whatever I want, some classic country, some rock, some new stuff, a lot of 80s pop, you know what I mean? Like, especially since, if it's a Saturday night, we're getting going and we're partying. But so that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to rap about 50 or 60 of these tunes together that I would just normally play. It's just basically stream, just basically free form, a free flow thing. It's like when it's kind of like when you're looking at Wikipedia or something, you click on one thing and then it's like, oh, this record was produced by this guy. So you go Kiss, and then you go Eddie Kramer, and you go like, what did Eddie Kramer do? What else did he produce? And then that guy played in this band, so let's play some Rory Gallagher or whatever. So it'll be really fun.
I have your name. You want your name? The name for your podcast is Rabbit Hole.
Rabbit Hole, Kyle Boudreau. That'll be perfect. You know what? I like that. We'll go with that. It's better
There
than
you go.
the Boudreau radio show as well. A radio show, episode 1, which is
We'll
what
talk about my intellectual property fees a little bit later on.
No
Listen, for the
problem.
folks who don't know Kyle Boudreau, he's the lead singer and guitar player for The Frequency. But tell us a little bit about you now, Kyle, when you got started, how long you've been doing it, that kind of thing, for the folks who don't know a lot about your history.
Okay, well, I'm from Cape Breton, and I started playing probably when I was about 12 or 13 in different bands, and my uncles, and people like that kind of guided me along there. I was just very interested. Once I fell into music and singing and performing, I just loved it. So I just started doing that. And, if the radio's on, like, ever since I was a little kid, if the radio's on or if somebody's playing a song, or if there's a guitar, I don't even hear what anybody's saying. I just tune right into that. It's always been kind of my favorite thing. So I enjoy doing that. I enjoy performing. And, I write songs and stuff too, but I enjoy, doing the, I think Sean just took off here somewhere. But I enjoy doing that. And, started doing that, from an early age, and I just kind of kept at it. So I've always performed in bars and in different things. I like playing cover songs. And I always said it like, I write songs and stuff too for fun. And, but I just love getting together with the boys and playing and just entertaining people. So.
Well, Kyle and we had Frankie Deuce for a while, and then it's almost 3 years played with The Frequency, and I can say probably playing with Kyle 7 years, I've actually heard him lose his voice twice in 7 years.
Wow.
And if you go, well, and I know you're gonna say, you probably, that's probably been more than that, but if you go out and you hear Kyle sing, you don't friggin' take it easy. Like you're always going for it. You're always belting it out. You don't do yourself any favors, maybe sometimes too. Like, I mean, I've never seen a singer who has as much power that doesn't lose his voice. And I don't know how you put your finger on that. I've been trying to for 7 years, and I just can't figure it out.
Well, we didn't have telephones in Cape Breton, so you open the window, and then you get really tough. You get really tough in your voice. And I just yelled and I talk all day. I never shut up. So you never shut up and you talk all day.
You'd be into the tin can. Booty.
Yeah, I'm a puny whip, but my vocal cords, those two little tiny fibers are tough, I guess. I don't know. And, to me, I lose my voice kind of all the time, but it's not, it's never completely gone. But, like if I'm singing, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night there, usually by the end of Saturday night, it's gone, girl. But,
we've been at Dolan's where you're getting up and I can hear it. And there's week, and then you get up on stage and it's just like brilliant, and you're ripping. And I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's a talent that I've heard singers lose their voices, when a car drives by too fast. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. It's and it's funny because I was talking to Booty about this. The show that we do, it's all over the place. I wouldn't call it easy. I mean, it's not, we're not sitting there, splitting the atom, but there's a lot of gymnastics for you. And you're playing a lot more guitar now. So it's not an easy show to do, and people don't realize that.
Oh yeah. And like sometimes, just depending on what goes up there. I mean, if you're playing for 2 or 3 hours, like I'll get up there and I'll have a good sweat, like the first 2 or 3 songs. And then I've really got to like pace myself and drink a lot of water and stuff like that and try to maintain that. Sometimes I just get really excited and I just like, and I just,
So,
but I try to best, like, you know what I mean? Like if you sleep at night, I try to sleep at night. Sometimes everybody will still be partying really late, and I'll kind of duck out a little bit sometimes. You know what I mean? Like if it's, because you want to sleep a little bit, and if you can eat and sleep properly and stay hydrated, you tend to keep your voice pretty good.
Did you have any professional training at all now, Kyle, or no?
No. It would have been nice. But no, I never had any kind of training. I just always kind of feel that passion kind of thing, like, and I hear a song I really like and I just want to sing it. So I think if you do practice, you do get a little bit better, because when I started, I was very pitchy, and some songs I wasn't on key at all. Like I'd get like one of my uncles or cousins or somebody who knew, I'd kind of sing the song for them, and they go, ah. They go like, oh, you're kind of flat on that. Why don't you try it again, or try a different song, or you know what I mean? And then over the years, you kind of develop, your kind of style or whatever. And
well, I've heard you do personally some Zeppelin and Meatloaf and some other. What was the other one that really blew me away? Bowie. I can't remember. It was just, your voice is really unique. I've been around this music scene for a long time, and I was pretty shocked. So you got to hear this guy. I was like, all right, I'll go hear him. I said, wow, I was pretty impressed. So.
Oh, thank you, Dave. That means a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that, buddy. So, but like I said, I like doing it. So, when I try to go out there and even if I'm tired or whatever, like when it's time to go to the bar or do like a show or whatever, I try to do my best. So if you're working during the day, sometimes you've got stuff during the day that you're playing late night. I like to have that nap in between.
Sure. I had a couple of guitar players over the last while who've seen us play, and they're all like, what does Kyle use for a rig? And it's funny because everybody talks about how your sound is probably one of the best guitar sounds out there. And I kind of a little bit because I see the friggin' abuse that thing takes sometimes, but it does sound amazing. So I don't know if you want to let the cat out of the bag. I mean, I know what you use, but I've had a lot of people that ask me what you use for a rig.
Oh, yeah. Well, I use an SG. It's a Gibson SG. And it's a 61 SG reissue. So what I did was, I think I got the guitar first. I got the guitar about 10 years ago. And, ever since I was a kid, you get all these different pieces of equipment. So you get an amp, or you get a Boss pedal, or a Diamond pedal, or whatever. And you tend to like it and keep it or get rid of it. So just over the years, I just kind of accumulated parts that work together. So there was an SG, and then there was an old Fender amp. It's a 1962 Fender Concert. So it's got a lot of the original stuff. And then I've got a reverb tank. And then I had this old overdrive pedal. It was a Boss OD1. And I always liked to use that. So I kept that. And then I kept a tube screamer that went along that I find that when I put the two of them together, it went nicely. Then a boost that went nicely. And then a diamond. I got a diamond delay. So it's just like, and then you take a pedal and you're like, well, I don't love this. And you keep replacing it. So basically, I've been using the same thing for about 10 years. And it took me a long time. And I just found like a couple of pedals I really like stuck to it. The guitar I really like stuck to it. An amp I stuck to it. And then I try, like, it sounds like I'm playing with a lot of distortion, I guess. But I try to keep that lower. I try to put like less distortion than I think I need.
Just turn it up.
Well,
So, that's, and then, I find that when it's loud and you're going through the PA system and I put it, I take some treble off the guitar amp because I find, again, once you're going through the whole chain of it and through the PA system and everything's loud, and it helps you with the sustain. So I just kind of always set it the same way. And I find that every guitar player that comes in the band, no matter who it is, they've got a more trebly sound than I do or a higher pitched, sound than I do. So it always blends well.
Well, and Leith and I were talking the other night about how every time we play, if Matt Mays gets up, Matt just jumps up there and grabs that SG and just cranks your amp to almost 10. And
yeah.
He always does the same thing. He turns around, that sounds fucking good. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's just hilarious. Like, it's been a lot of people that ask me, what you use for a rig. So it's just, it's funny. And again, a real, here's what we call Boudreau story. So we're up at Dolan's before Christmas, and he and I go to Long and McQuaid. And I literally turn around for 2 seconds to get a set of sticks. Kyle's got an SG on the counter. He's buying a brand new SG. And anyway, so you made the deal. You brought it back. I don't think you touched it. Maybe you tried it, and then you didn't touch it. But you ended up taking it back because it didn't have the same look and feel and whatever.
Yeah.
The one that made, right?
Yeah, it was exact, but like I said, like I'm used to that guitar. So I only use that guitar, and I found that over the years I've spent money on different electric guitars. I only own 2 electric guitars. I got a Stratocaster. I've had a Tele here and again, and I really like playing Telecasters, and I'll have another one soon once I find one. But I always just kind of use the same guitar. So even to buy another SG, I'm like, oh, this guitar has kind of done its day, but it hasn't. I just get it adjusted. I've got the Bigsby on it, and I've got these tuning keys that I really like and these frets that I really like on this guitar. And I just always use the same guitar, and I only own 1 electric guitar amp. I always bring the same amp with me, no matter what. And it's like, and again, I've tried other amps, and I own a couple of other amps, but I only use the 1 Fender amp. So I just always use the same thing, the same cables, the same picks,
All right.
same strings.
Is it the original pickups on the SG? Is it the stock pickups on it?
Yeah, the stock pickups on the SG. And there's a lot of other stuff that's changed, but it's a 2007 guitar. I bought it from John Parker. John Parker had it. It was a 1-piece SG body. And I ended up using that, and I just, I loved it. And And then once you start picking, you know, you find the right kind of picks, you find the right size strings for that guitar. And now I don't have to think about it. And it's kind of nice because you know, when I go to a music store, I buy my picks and my strings. I don't really look at any other instruments. You know, I've got a couple of acoustic guitars, a Strat, and I've got all kinds of equipment, but I always use the same thing. I just like using the same thing.
See, we were playing in the 80s, you see, and I had a 1963 Gibson SG I played. I was playing
Nice.
keyboards and guitar back then. And the boys thought that I needed something cool and flashy, so I sold my SG for some, I don't know, piece of shit. I didn't know what the hell it was. It was like a Kramer or something. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, I missed that guitar because I loved the feel of an old Gibson. It was just something, the right weight, and I know exactly what you mean. And then just nice wood and yeah.
Yeah, and then you don't have to think about it. You can just play the guitar. You just set up your equipment, and you can think about, you know, what songs am I going to do, or how am I going to entertain people, rather than think, what guitar am I going to use tonight? And it's like people always wear the same outfit, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, you open up the closet, there's 10 of the same outfit, and you put one on. You know, you don't have to think about what you're going to wear, kind of thing. So I don't kind of think what I'm going to play. And when I'm in the recording studio, I'll use the SG a lot, but then I'll use different guitars. You know, like if I want something more trebly or whatever, I'll use the Strat. And but I tend live, you know, and then in the bars sometimes too, you get a hum. So I tend to like using the Gibson,
right?
Because then the humbuckers,
yeah,
right away. I mean, you've got a big advantage there. So.
Well, and the Boudreau brothers like their retro gear because Booty's the same way. He'll send me pictures of basses. He's like, "Yeah, I get a new bass, and it looks exactly like the bass that he's already playing, and he's got 5 of them, right?"
Yeah.
But he likes his 60 era P bass, and I mean that's you know. So he actually it was he bought that Rickenbacker, and his handle on that whole weekend was it Orville Rickenbacker, because he just couldn't get
Rickenbacker.
Or it was funny, and it was just for him. It was like a bass that he always wanted, but I mean, he's pretty much a P bass guy, right? So it was kind of funny.
Let me know if he wants to sell it.
Yeah, I think he got a different jazz bass or something for it. He's got like 4 P basses and 1 jazz bass or something, and a fretless bass. Yeah.
And
I got the little fingers, so I needed a jazz bass. I couldn't play precision bass to kill myself. So
yeah.
You know what? Booty basses off Dixon. So I mean, he's you know, he's very particular about what he wants, and when he finds it, he's not afraid to. As we know, spend money on it. So when he gets a great sound. So he just doesn't lift gear. That's Ryan's problem.
Yeah.
Get on Ryan. He just doesn't lift gear. But
we
less.
You mentioned some original stuff. Now, do you guys implement the original songs in your sets at all?
Not yet. I mean, I recorded something, you know, and you can listen to it on Spotify. Okay. But you know, it's under my name. It's there. There's like 13 songs or so, and you know, and that's why I'm totally, like. But with the frequency, we do the cover songs and people's favorite songs, because I mean, we're tend to, when people hire us to do that job,
right?
So when it's set at 10:30, they want to hear, you know, the number one hits of the whatever. So we play those. But you know, I'd love to start playing more original gigs, and it would have been a good time. I was kind of looking to do that, and then all of this happened. I was looking to do a show or two with the boys there and record it. So, and right now, so what I did was I recorded these 13 songs. I've been writing songs forever. So Ryan and I we probably had 100 songs. We picked 13 of them and recorded them, and now I'm just trying to write one good one, like one really good one, and record that. You know what I mean? Go all out. And now they just have to write one. Well, now it's a cluster. So I started, you know, trying to write songs, and I've got some ideas, and I've got some good stuff, but I'm kind of not rushing that. And then I started doing the podcast thing, because I got all hung up on I should be writing songs, and then I started focusing creatively on the podcast thing. I'll go back to the songs after that's done and hope for the best. So that's not really something you can rush, but I've been taking a new approach. I've been writing down all kinds of song titles and stuff first, trying to start with the chorus.
But I think what you're going to find, Kyle, is working on the podcast, and then when you go back to the music thing, it's going to be like kind of fresh, and you know, because it gets all right. So,
yeah, exactly.
And I mean, the other thing when we play is because I mean the frequencies are a while, so there's songs that if Kyle doesn't play them at a Dolan's, we get shit on. There's songs he has to play. What would you consider some of those Kyle-esque tunes? that you do at Dolan's? I know what they are, but for people that are wondering.
Oh, well, people like, I mean, All Right Now. They like All Right Now. And we do a lot of Tom Petty. They usually expect us to play some Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Neil Young, some Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac for sure. All the classic tunes. Outfield.
That's
Neil
pretty
Young.
high.
I mean, the first. Yeah, anything high. It's my kind of specialty. And it's like, and there's one, anyway, I've got a bunch of songs on the podcast. I'm doing songs that are really low. Like I've got, these songs that I would never be able to kind of, to go there. But yeah, I try to sing, songs that kind of suit me, which is in that higher register.
Right.
And also I find that when it gets later at night and everybody's excited and everybody comes into the bar and stuff like that, and it starts to get more packed, I start getting more excited and energetic. And I find that those high songs help me get that there. I try to reach those notes that I mean? I kind of sing higher. I just, once I'm excited and once I'm at the gig, I want to sing loud and proud and high and yell. And I usually shout at people a lot.
Well, and it's funny because I the first time I went to Dolan's with you guys, and when we do there's definitely a crew of people that come out frequency that are constant, consistent. I mean, they're always there. Obviously, from a long time of playing room, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Tons of people will come out and in Halifax too. And there's always a great crew of people that come out. And, they like to have fun. And they like to listen to rock and roll and get up there and support the band. And it's just great, I mean, and every frequency show, I mean, even if it's the same songs, we do different stuff every night. Like we'll have a lot of different guests show up and play with us. But not just that, but I mean, we tend to kind of have the essence of the song and play it. We try to play at the right speed, at the right key, at the right chords, and the right lyrics and all of that. But usually there's room there. Usually at the end of the songs where we try to jam and improvise. So I'll either take guitar solo. If Leet's playing, he'll go. Somebody else will go. Or then we'll swap and improvise. You always got to stay on your toes. Sometimes, I'll do a gig where Thursday, Friday, I'll do a solo, and then I'll point to somebody else Saturday to the solo. I could do it, but just to kind of, make sure that everybody's on their toes and that we're making music.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get pretty stale when you're playing a lot of the same songs that people do expect.
Exactly.
So I try to throw in, and this frequency plays also some deep cuts too, like, so for every John Mellencamp and every other one that we'll play, which are great songs, there'll be something a little bit more obscure every 3 or 4 songs for the rock fan or the music fan. So, and somebody will come up and say, thank you for Jimi Hendrix, or thank you for Little Wing, or thank you for The Who, or whatever, because, you guys, we're playing a lot of different stuff. So, but we try to do something cool, every set, or a couple of cool songs a set. And, but I like all that material. I mean, there's a time when it's Saturday night, and there's a bridal shower there, whatever, with our whole crew. And, Summer 69 is the right thing. So we try to do it all. And I always make sure to, and you look at those songs too. We've been playing them forever. Since I was 14, I've been playing them. I'm never going to forget.
Yeah.
Hurts So Good, or Summer of 69, or any of those, right? Like Go Your Own Way,
Well, a lot of the it's funny, a lot of the bits that you're talking about are, they've kind of come together just by, like the one that I'm thinking of is the Blink 182 that reggae piece, and it might be seconds or it might be 15 minutes, and then you go out of it, but that's just something that's just kind of morphed into a deal because you give me some reggae and a bunch of rock guys tried to play reggae, and here we are, right? It's really cool. It's fluid, and people don't understand it until they play with us. I had Mike Campbell last summer. He did a couple of games. Rudy was away on vacation. We can't talk about that, but and Mike was talking about how much fun it was because it's a different show every night. Now, something to be said for that, because it's still professional, but it's it's fresh, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I'll break a string, or it'll be like, the end of the second set, and I'll like break a string or something. And that's what that Blink 182 song's for, or whatever. Like let's play with some Blink 182. I'll put the guitar down, and they'll give me a chance to change a string, or fix something in the mix, you know what I mean? And the boys will
Right.
play some reggae, then I'll be like, do a little something, Sean, and Sean will have to do a little drum solo or something. Or
No double bass, though, I understand.
no double bass. Well, no double bass is great. Save that for the endings, bro. Yeah, double bass is good, but I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're playing Hot for Teacher, double bass is great. But if you're at a bar and you're hitting that double bass, that poor little PA system's kind of crumbling. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm not a big double bass fan. In certain things,
Funny, playing the show now. I mean, like again, it's not super technical. Some parts are, but it's just groovy. It grooves and it's fun, and less is more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Cool.
Well, even like in this, and you learn it because even in this podcast that I'm making, I wanted to put some harder rock and tunes in there. And then I've got these really nice mid-tempo songs. All of this sounds really good. These MP3s sound great. Everything's groovy. And then all of a sudden something comes and hits you on top of the head. And you're like, I'm going to take that out. And I think that's kind of like, it's like pacing the set. Like, like there's, you just want to pace that set properly. So, I mean, it's like everything else. So.
Well, I mean, with those tunes, I mean, you play some stuff that I'm getting to know a lot of tunes just because you obviously spend a lot of time coming up with stuff, and there's been some different things, but the two funniest ones that you'll remember, we were in St. John and you put on Crying by Roy Orbison, and I listened to it the first time I actually heard the lyrics, and I looked at Kyle and I said, that is the most depressing freaking and the second one, and I don't remember, I was actually going to ask you this today, we were the last gig we were coming home from, and you played that one by that dude that sounded like he was whistling through his teeth, but it was all
Chip Taylor. You know what? I've got that on the podcast that I've been playing. I Love You Today. And it's like, I mean, so I'm playing all these songs and I was like, and this, make you cry. This song will make you cry.
And it did. We're driving back and we're all like, what the frick's going on? Like,
yeah. Well, plus, I mean, you stay up drinking for 3 nights in a row and then you're driving back on Sunday. Yeah, anything will make you cry. But, Sunday afternoons, like I've always been that guy. I love to listen to a ballad and shed a tear. I mean, I'm sitting in my room or whatever, some Roy Orbison or some Willie Nelson, and that's why I want to do the podcast. Cause I mean, I there's just a lot of moments in music that I like Always on My Mind by Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
Like, he's singing that song. Like, that's such a great song. And then, he's like, if I made you feel second best. And then on the backing vocal, she's like, you did. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, let him finish apologizing before you tell him what he did wrong in the middle of the first verse. If I made you feel second best, you did. It's just like, give the guy a break. You know what I mean? So it's just like, but yeah, I mean, it brings a tear to your eye. It's like, and music is that kind of thing. It reminds you of, places you've been or things you did or people that you knew. And then it starts on you, right?
Kyle, that's awesome, because we talked about that on one of Rashawn's radio shows, and it's true because I think back to why I guess I became a musician in the first place, because my whole life been trying to feel something real. Just try to emote or try to be feel emotion. And it's true when you have a song or a certain film or you're watching a comedy and you laugh, you belly laugh. If you can feel something, then you're on earth, then you exist. You know what I mean? And that's pretty cool that you pick up these songs that you can feel in your heart and that's cool. I like that. I get it. I totally get that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, and the other thing too that when we talked about
Sean, I like your friends. Your friends are really nice, by the way.
Yeah, they're good people. You need to get some, Dave. Anyway, sorry, don't cry. We were talking to Leaf the other night, and some of the stuff that people don't get to see, and maybe some people do if they come, is the pre-show stuff, Kyle. I mean, I can think of a couple of times, you telling that story, the 20-minute story about the lion in the jungle all rolling around.
Man.
Well,
that's called Red Bull. I mean, that's called Red Bull pretty much. You know what I mean?
Or just giving Booty a hard time about being Booty or whatever. But I mean, that's some of the fun. I mean, the playing's awesome, right? But that's some of the fun stuff people don't get to see sometimes. And that's part of music, right?
Yeah. Well, I learned long ago, like it's best to, like I used to play in bands and stuff where I would stress out. or where people in the band would stress out. So you go to the gig and everybody was stressed out. And now it's been like, and over the last like maybe 12 or 13 years, important to me, like we're all at the band houses to cultivate, like we're all there together. You know what I mean? We're setting up our stuff, or we're having supper together at the band house. And it's just to cultivate that everybody feels good. And it's a good show in the making. You're already making the show, even if it's 6 or 7 o'clock at night and you're playing at 11 o'clock or whatever. It's like, you know, you get the music going, the good vibes, and everybody laughs, and that sense of camaraderie, and it just makes for a better gig, you know. And you can really tell that band, you know, a band is what it is on stage. And I mean, you don't have to hang out together. You can be like Motley Crue or whatever. You never see each other. Everybody's got their own bus, and you all get together on stage for 90 minutes, and then everybody's back on the bus or whatever. But I like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you're there, you're at the gig, you're at the bar, and you everybody's doing their best to create that sense that there's going to be a good show that night. You know what I mean? So, you know, if whether it's St. Patrick's Day or just a Saturday night or a regular night at the bar or whatever, it's like, you know, your job is to entertain. So, exactly. You know, I know when I go see a band, like I check it out pretty intensely. You know, I know that not everybody does that, but I'll go to a bar and I'll watch the band. You know, I'm watching the interaction of the band members and what they're playing. You know, like I get, you know, when you go see like, you know, a big band, like when you go see Tom Petty or whatever in the Heartbreakers, you know that those guys were together all day. You know what I mean? Doing like a sound check and getting ready and making this an awesome show. So yeah, no. I just kind of want to do that, and it just makes it a lot funner. You know,
that's a very good point, Kyle. I like, if I'm going to go watch a band, I don't only watch the band, I also watch the audience, and I like to see how they're feeling, because it's, if you're gonna steal an idea or steal like a vibe almost, it's like, or emulate what you've seen, something that works. How are they interacting with the audience, and how the audience, you know, feeling the band? And that's a very good point. If you've spent that time building, you know, the friendship and camaraderie with the band, you can't turn it off. You're gonna get on stage and you're gonna have a good time, and the audience is gonna pick up on it for sure.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. And the guys who are, you know, clocking it in or just doing a job, you can tell. You know, like to me, I mean, you know, or the camaraderie. You know, I mean, you don't have to be best friends to be in a band, but if you enjoy playing together, I mean, that, you know, that's pretty infectious, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah.
So, your podcast now, we talked a little bit about that. So, when do you realistically going to be launching that, be able to, you know, hear it and start commenting on it?
Well, I started it seriously last Monday. And then I thought to myself, like, I can put this together pretty quick, couple of hours. I can put this together. And let me tell you, it's been a lot. Like, I never really realized. So I started putting a list together of a couple of 100 songs. And then I started whittling it down. And then I'm like, well, these songs are here on Q104. Then I removed those. And then, but you know, I'm trying to make something interesting so that you can, if it's Sunday afternoon and, you know, it's noon, you can listen to this from noon till 4 and just enjoy it. Kind of thing, and everything flows on to the next. So I've spent maybe 15 or 20 hours working on it so far. Right. And I would say that after another 3 or 4 hours is done, but then there's technical things I got to post it. But I'm like, I wonder if I want to put this on a timeline and make it really boom, 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 or if I want to set the levels all together, or if I just kind of want to get it out. So I'm trying to figure out the technical details now, but like the list is made and everything, and I'm just going to get there and I'm going to do the show kind of in real time, play a couple of songs, think about what I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
So is the podcast something, is it subscription based, or how does that work? Like, how do you get access to your podcast?
Well, I don't know yet. That's the whole thing. Like, I got to post it. I think I'm going to post it on iTunes because there's an iPod or an iPod.
Right.
Yeah. A podcast place there that you can post them. So I'm going to do that and then share the link. And then I've got a lot of music, so I don't know about the copyright issues or what goes on there. So I might have to put it up on SoundCloud or something. But I'm going to post it on my Facebook, and Sean, you know, I'll send you guys both the link so that you can post it up. And it's just going to be like a good time, basically, you know, just kind of like if we were hanging out and I was playing a bunch of tunes, or if we're playing, like I got my buddy Todd and I would get together all the time and play tabletop hockey and DJ some songs for each other. So it'd be that kind of thing. If you were playing tabletop hockey with me for 3 or 4 hours, I'd be playing some songs, you know. So there'd be some Hendrix and some Who and some Aerosmith and some Kinks and some all that. And then a couple of country classics will come out there. And, so it's just going to basically flow like that. So just like that, basically, if we'd be hanging out and they'd be DJing tunes at the band house, this is what I would be playing. So.
And I've witnessed some of those tabletop hockey matches. I'll tell you, blood is shed. Todd's he's super competitive, and when Kyle wins, he doesn't like it at all, right? So it's
no
good time, right? Another good point, Kyle. I mean, like that's one of the things that when like Leith and I were talking about. That the party's on and it's time to get ready for the show when you hear the I-Loud, right?
Yeah, and the I-Loud, for people that don't know, it's a speaker. It's basically a portable speaker, and it's 40 watts. It's actually right here. So it's always on, cranked up. But it's basically this 40-watt speaker, and it's I-Loud. And people are like, that's the perfect speaker for you. I-Loud. Yeah. I'm like, I know. So, but yeah, I just crank this, but at the band house, same thing. You let everybody sleep. You don't bother anybody. But then around 7, 8 o'clock, I like starting to kind of crank those music, just to let everybody know I maybe should get up and hop in the shower. Once I'm up, everybody's up. If I want to sleep, everybody sleeps. Once I'm up, everybody's up. That's that's
a true story, and it's usually, hey man, you want to go to Harvey's?
Exactly.
We'll go down to Harvey's.
Everybody's gonna think I just eat burgers because I mentioned 5 guys at Harvey's.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I just eat burgers.
You're gonna piss off a lot of vegetarians here tonight.
No, yeah. Well, they're smarter than I am, but I don't know. I'm enjoying these burgers, so what can I say?
Funny story, and here's what I found so far, Kyle. Now, Sean and I have been doing this website now for what, 11 days now, Sean, 10 days. I'm not sure how long it's been on. It feels like it's like a full-time job for us now that we're, I'm personally a Serbian now on the CERB, and Sean's still working, God love him. But I mean, we're trying to offer a little bit of distraction for folks in these off times. But your story isn't much different than Dave Roberts' story from Titan. It isn't much different than Jackie Smith's story. It isn't much different than Marnie Farron's story. You're a super fan, and I can tell just by your love of music that it's the music that drives you. It's been that way since you were 10 years old, probably before then. And you still, like, you're talking about that story with the I-Loud, and I remember doing that, just going to my friend's house, Mike Freeborn's house, and listening to music. We didn't do anything. We just listened to new music over and over, and it's just fun, right?
Oh, yeah. My parents thought there was something wrong with me. I'd take the stereo, I'd put the speaker just out of my head, and I would just bob, like, you know what I mean? Listening to the Archies, just like, like Metallica or whatever. So it's just like, I'm listening to the Archies, just like, and just loving it. Just falling into a trance, right? And, and I just have that kind of, whatever cartoons I would watch or TV shows or even now, I'd never forget a song. Like, if I hear a song, it's like, it's in the memory. I'll usually remember the melody and the lyrics. And that's why sometimes it's hard to write some tunes, because I'll start writing some tunes and I'll be like, okay, well, that piece of melody sounds like this. And then I kind of get hung up on that, or I'll write something and go, oh, I lifted that very obviously. But, like the Archies, I still remember the Archie intro theme and all of the other songs from whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, so I just love that stuff. And I always, whenever there's a song on, like if I'm at work I used to work at, different places. And when I would work, if the music would be on, I just like forget it. I would just like, or I'm driving in the car, somebody's talking to me and the radio's on. It's like, boom, I'm listening to that. It's over. It doesn't matter what it is,
that you picked up that we didn't even touch on. You picked up a little teaching gig recently that you've been doing in schools, which is kind of a neat thing.
Yeah, I was teaching, until it closed there. So until probably September, I was teaching at the French schools for L'école Ovation. And I was teaching Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons for a couple of hours each day. I would go in and teach groups of kids. There was 5 or 6 kids, and I would teach them guitar lessons in French. And I would teach them I would basically show them just how the notes would blend together and just the musical alphabet and things like that. And that was really rewarding when you see some of the kids just love that, right? And so that was awesome. Great. Hopefully in September I'll be doing that again. And that was something I would do, I'd do it, for money too, but it would also be for I just love teaching the kids. Yeah. It would get me out of bed and just, like the kids. And, I'd be like, there was a young fellow who'd come up to me and say, I love to sing. J'adore chanter, j'adore les Beatles. right? Like, and I'm just like, okay. And then the kid sings Let It Be with me, and we're singing Let It Be, and the kid sings great. He's in like grade 6. And it's just like, I can remember being, feeling the way that kid felt, you know what I mean? And the fact that he's loving the Beatles, you know what I mean? It's still awesome. It's still like, it's like, wow, he's got like a Beatles haircut. And, listening to the Beatles and, just wanting to talk about the Beatles all day long, and I can remember that was me. It's still me. So it's just like, it was awesome.
I get it.
It's still 40, I'm 42, but it's still me, a little kid when I listen to the Beatles. So,
So how are we doing for time here, Dave?
We got a couple more minutes left. Maybe should we sing call a song, you think? His birthday song
Yeah.
in real life?
Sing me a song.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kyle. Happy birthday to you.
I thought it was going to be, I thought when you played it, G, I thought, only 2 things in life that make it worth living.
That's right.
Guitars
Go
are
to
too good.
Bob, Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's great, guys. Well, thank
I
you
thought
so
Sean
much
was going to
for
sing
having
along
me.
with me. I kind of got embarrassed there, but fuck it. It is what it is.
No, it's awesome. I would sing along too, but I think with Zoom, I think only one of us can talk at a time.
Yeah.
I think. Because, you guys are cutting out, like, because I always interrupt. I'm an interrupter. So I noticed that when you guys are talking, that I just keep talking. And then, like, so yeah. So hopefully, I would love to do a Zoom jam if you guys want to do a Zoom jam one day. If we have the technology.
We'll figure that out.
You know what? We talk about this a lot with everybody on this show so far. There's something, we're in for a reinvention of the wheel. Like, there's something going to change here. If we're stuck in the houses here for any more period of time, it's going to be tough for, get close to your loved one and have a dance on the dance floor. But you know what? People are going to have to perform, and they're going to get together and jam or talk or whatever, and you're going to have it at the same time. And it's true. I haven't seen a format yet that you can kind of do that without cutting somebody else off. So there's going to be some technology.
I know. Now there must be some kind of high-end software. Like, even when I watched this video where the Stones were playing together, and Charlie Watts had this incredible thing where he wasn't even playing the drums. It was like these fake drums. I thought it was just before I read an article, I thought he was just kind of miming a drum track that he had pre-recorded, but I don't know. I don't think that those guys pre-recorded anything. I can't see them pre-recording. Those guys don't overdub. Like, even when they go cut a new song, they go in the studio and that basic song is cut with 3 or 4 of them playing. So there must be some, but they're rich, but there must be some sort of conference software where 4 people can do it at the same time. You can always overdub, but by the time you're overdubbing, then the whole mind meld. Because there's something else thing comes in. You know what I mean? Where you go like, oh, well, they recorded a part. Well, should I do this? Should I put more treble? Should I record this part? Am I too loud? Maybe I'll back away and trim the mic and do it again. And then you're like, once you get into that kind of mode, then nothing gets done or whatever. So it'd be nice to have something where everybody can play together and then record it at one time and then it's done, right? I think so.
Well, we saw you and Sam perform the other day. There's a little Facebook video there that we saw you and Sam perform. Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, we did that together here. Because, there was only 2 of us here, so. Yeah. But at the same time, we're supposed to kind of stay away. But, when you're Kyle and Sam, you don't stay away from each other, I guess. Is the old joke, right? But, so, we got together. But, there we only did it like an hour. Like, it took us longer to set up than it took to record. And we were thinking about doing other takes. And we did Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. We had never done it. It's a long song. It ended up being our own arrangement by the end of it. I think we did it twice. But, again, if you do it too many times, you lose all the mojo. So it's nice to get some sort of software where we could all play together. I guess is what I'm saying. That way you wouldn't have to think about a mix or overdubs. It's just kind of done.
That's a good term. That's good terminology when I think about you, Kyle, is mojo. Like, you got very cool mojo, man. And that's what I can
thanks. Well, you should have seen me 10 minutes before you guys called there when I was on the couch there, just waking up from a nap. There I didn't have much mojo then. But
before the haircut, yeah.
So before we wrap here, Kyle, anybody you want to say hi to? Because this will be on the page. We're taping this, but it's going to be on the page shortly. Anybody want to say hi to
people?
That's an easy one. I'd like to say hi to everybody because today's my birthday. Everybody's been saying hi to me. and
There
they've
you
been wishing me messages and calling me, and I've been on the phone a little bit, but you know, I'm gonna get on Facebook and thank everybody soon. So, but yeah, I feel blessed. You know what I mean? Like I've got lots of great family, lots of great friends, and you know, it's a good time. It's this kind of time that makes you realize too that, you know, how important family and friends are. You know what I mean? Once you're in the house like this, and you know, and because you tend to get kind of into yourself a little bit, I guess you could say, when you can do anything or go anywheres, and but you know, once you're at home, you realize what's important, and you know, the importance of your family and friends. So, you know, I hope everybody's keeping safe. And yeah, I want to say hi to my mom. I know my mom, you know, of all the people who, if anybody stuck this far into the interview, it's my mom. So thanks, Mama.
And I'll guarantee you she will. And because she texted me yesterday, don't forget it's Kyle's birthday tomorrow, which was great. But I said we did a little post earlier today that you were going to be on it. She was the first one that responded. So, you know, Therese, bud, she's a gamer, right?
I think she said "Bonne fête à toi." I think she said something like that.
Yeah.
Therese. Yeah.
And the other Dave, and I don't know Kyle if he's around. Kyle has got the coolest friggin' dog, Joey. He's rock and roll like you wouldn't believe. This dog is unreal. See you around, Kyle?
Yeah, let me see if I can find Jojo here. Jojo.
He's a funny dude.
There he is.
He's a man who thought he was a loner.
What's up, buddy? You guys see him?
There he is.
Hey, Joe. Jojo. There he is.
There he is. Look at him.
Jojo was a dog who thought he was a loner, huh?
Yeah,
Kyle,
exactly.
Kyle.
Yeah, and there's little Joey, because Big Joey used to play the band with Big Joey. So yeah, this is little Joey. Yeah, killer. Well, guys, yeah, like I said, thanks for having me. And yeah, Ryan, my brother's here. There, he's sitting outside there. Booty's out there. So
Is he?
he brought a cake of some sort. Yeah. Booty, come say hi to the boys. Yeah, I'll pass you the Booty here. Oh, he's in the bathroom. He's in the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Booty, say hi to the boys.
Kyle, why didn't you buy toilet paper when there was some? Jesus,
yeah, I
man.
know. Sorry, no toilet paper in there, bro. Sorry.
We got lots of N95 masks, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, use one of these.
That's a perfect way to end the interview. A little bit of toilet humor.
Yeah. We covered all the bases here tonight, I think. I don't think we're going away empty-handed or disappointed. We've covered a lot.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of our viewers who didn't know Kyle Boudreau now know Kyle Boudreau a little bit better from the frequency.
Yeah.
And I want to appreciate
I feel bad for
thank you very much for being on the show, Kyle. Because again, I met you a handful of times. We've been Facebook friends for a long time, but it's like, you know, you're a special guy, and I appreciate your passion for music. And thanks for sharing that with us tonight.
Thank you so much, Dave. I really appreciate this, and this is a great show. Keep doing this, and I see all the bases there, bro. Keep rocking on, man. That's awesome.
Yep.
And thank you.
Good seeing you, bro.
Good seeing you guys. Thanks. Take care.
Right.
Send me this link when it's done so I can send it to my mom.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Getting posted, and I don't know.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
See you.
Take care, brother.
Take care.
All right.